So after months of work, the project is done and now all that's left is pictures. The question is, where to take them? Yeah, that won't work. Way too much stuff. What about over there? Yeah, no, that corner is occupied. This outfit won't look right in front of a brick wall. So, why not make the background? My name is Melissa Case from Hat to Hem, and today we're making a wall. Well, kinda. To make this wall, I used a tri-fold presentation board. Yep, the kind you use for a science fair project, and yes, I had flashbacks to 8th grade the whole time I worked on this. I used peel and stick wallpaper. Well, I used to. I also used scissors and this little smoothing tool. Since I decided I wanted a window, I also used window film, a box cutter, a ruler, and a pencil. I also used packing tape, but I didn't get a picture of it. The first thing I did was measure out a rectangle on my tri-fold presentation board. Once it was measured out, I went over the line with a box cutter. Safest way of doing this? Probably not, but it was a lot easier when I put the ruler aside and did it freehand. It still took a bit of time and elbow grease though. Once I made it all the way around, I was able to pop out the rectangle from my completely unnecessary window. Next, it was time for the peel and stick wallpaper. If you've never used peel and stick wallpaper before, but you're thinking about it, go slow. Unroll the paper backing a little at a time and press it to the surface in long strokes. Work in small areas if possible. You don't want your first project out of the gate to be an entire wall. Trust me, I've used similar wallpaper on the back of my closet and the back of my bookcases. This was much easier even with the pattern matching. Once again, I kept my window clear. Because I like going over the top when I have a tight deadline, I used a second wallpaper that was made to look like wood trim. If putting it along the bottom to look like baseboard molding wasn't extra enough, I also put it around my window. Lining up the corners took some patience, but I think it worked well. At this point, the fake wall was considerably fancier than anything in my actual house. What about that window I keep mentioning? Well, it's time for the window film. Unlike the wallpaper, I kept the paper backing on it. Some light comes through, but more importantly, you can't see through it, which would have kinda defeated the purpose of making the wall to begin with. I cut it to size and taped it on with packing tape. And ta-da! A fancy wall with an equally fancy window. What about a floor? Well, luckily, my cutting table is the perfect color for my fake room. This whole project ended up taking less than 2 hours to make, and it would have been quicker with wallpaper that was easier to match. The window was a last-minute idea I came up with when I went out to buy the presentation board, and I'm really glad I included it. I really think it just makes the scene. Thank you to my patrons on Patreon who didn't judge me, or at least show they were judging me, when I said I was making a wall the day before the lady video was supposed to be posted. And thank you for watching this video. Let me know in the comments if you think this mini project was worth the time to make, and I'll see you next time. Bye!